Yo, what up guys, Mysterious here, and we're back with a new video, and we're gonna take a look at Yone's itemization after the AD carry update. So the way this video is scheduled is I'm gonna explain the changes to each item and how that affects Yone and if it's actually buyable or not and in which situation. And then at the end, I'm going to give my recommendations to the builds that I see fit and when to build them and in which situations to build them. So let's start with the updated items here. And a good one to start with is Mortal Reminder. So Mortal Reminder usually was an item that Yone could build when your team needed anti-heal. It was cheap, it was cost efficient. But what we see right now is that the attack speed got removed. That means that it's probably not going to be bought on Yone anymore. You can still do it if you really need anti-heal and it's your job to do it because it also gives some armor penetration. But move speed's gone, attack speed's gone, it doesn't build from Zeal anymore. It's just the worst item for Yone right now and it's way more expensive. So also Zeal is not going to be a main item anymore on Yone because it only builds into PD and we rarely want to get PD. So I advise to stay away from those items. Other item changes that are important to note. Death's Dance is better on Yone right now. Ability haste gets removed. It has more armor, more AD. The item passive is like whatever. Same with Maw. It's also better on Yone right now. Less ability haste. More attack damage, so this is rather that we prefer because we're more of an assassin fighter rather than a real fighter who really prefer the Omnivamp and ability haste. So this is good for us. Definitely recommend taking a look at these items in your build. But moving on right here, Infinity Edge and Navori Quick Blades. Of course, the required critical strike chance that's needed to apply these items is lowered from 60 to 40. That means that we can actually rush Infinity Edge and get the crit bonus. Is it good? Possibly. I'm going to go into that a bit later. I've seen and tried some IE start. It's definitely a nice possibility that what we can now use in our item builds. So definitely be open-minded about this one. Same with Bloodthirster, it's a bit cheaper now, it gives a bit more value when it comes to the shield, the lifesteal goes a bit down, but that's completely fine. So this item also is a bit better on Yone right now. If we see right here, Blade Rune King got a little nerf. The cooldown is a bit longer and it deals way less damage. The most important thing to note here is that it starts to scale from level 9. So before level 9 into level 9 it's all 40 damage, it's not that much, and only then it starts to scale. So the damage is really down, and that's something that we got to keep in mind and also definitely affects our build path. Those are the main changes to the items. So I'm gonna now give my recommendations to what I experienced. I've been in practice tool, I've played some games, are the best item builds on Yone and in which situations to buy them. Alright, so these are the builds to watch out for. A few things to note with these builds and why this is so important. So, especially in mid lane, you want to have some sustain in your kit. Hence is why we usually start with Bork or Shield Bow on Yone, because it gives us that sustain and allows us to milk the lane a bit better. We also want attack speed. Hence is why we usually do not really start with Infinity Edge, because Yone scales extremely well on attack speed. So that's the mindset behind these items on Yone. So my personal favorite is still Shield Bow into IE. Especially for mid lane, and I feel like I have to be an assassin right now. There's a lot of AD carries building very aggressive items, very non-passive items, and we want to kill them, we want to assassinate them. So my personal favorite is the Shield Bow into IE, and I think if you play mid lane, 95% of the games you cannot go wrong with this build. So if you don't know what to do, I would recommend you default to this build. Then we're talking about Blade Rune King. Blade Rune King is still extremely strong. It got nerfed massively, but that's still okay. Item still does what it did for Yone. It is a bit less strong, and I think it's a bit more top centric right now. So it's a bit better for top Yone compared to mid Yone. If we go Blade Rune King, we can do it into anything. Actually, it's usually when we build Blade, the enemies probably have a lot of tanks. So when you're playing into a tanky composition as Yone, I still recommend this item. Otherwise, I would say, okay, shift towards the Shield Bow angle. Blade into Frostfire Gauntlet, still very good if we need that tankiness, if we need that fast armor, and if we want to peel for maybe one of our fat carries. That's definitely a build that we can still go for. A bit less common as before. Yone is a bit more damage oriented right now when it comes to what its role in the game is, and a bit less flexible when it comes to tankiness, because there's so much damage in the game right now. Tankiness doesn't really fare too well on Yone. It's still good, but not too good. Then we also got Triforce. Triforce is a very interesting item. It actually gives Yone a lot of good stats. The Spellblade passive, base AD, gives some health, which is always nice on Yone, and you can combine this with Blade Rune King, you can combine it with Infinity Edge. Definitely an item to watch out for and try yourself. If you like the feel of it, go for it. If you do not like the feel of it, then don't build it. It's completely fine. And of course we got Blade into Shield Bow, which is always going to be a high damage build. Very good for side laning, a lot of sustain, good against enemy poke or magic damage, because we can also go Spirit Visage after this. And then the final item that I really want to note on, Zeal. Zeal is still good on Yone, even after they removed it to build into Mortal Reminder. But that's the main problem. If we buy Zeal, we're probably staying on Zeal. We're probably not building it into Phantom Dancer because it's attack speed overload. It's just not that gold efficient. So you can still buy Zeal, but and definitely in the Shilpo IE, it's pretty good. Probably in the Borg IE Zeal, it's also pretty solid, but it's a bit iffy because it doesn't build into good items. So if we get to late game, we'll probably sell this item for a different item instead of upgrading it to Phantom Dancer. So now when it comes to the fighter items that changed, definitely in builds where you don't build Shield Bow and you need some quick MR, Maw is going to be a killer item on Yone, and Death's Dance always going to be a killer item on Yone. Whatever build you go, it's extremely good, and I definitely recommend you watch out for those items and take a good look at it. But to conclude right now, to default, I would still recommend the Shield Bow IE, especially in mid lane, because of the fast attack speed, access to attack speed, and lifesteal, which then scales into a very bursty type of build that we, in my opinion, need in this meta. So that's what I recommend. If you guys have any questions, comments, or you don't really know what's going on with your build or how to recognize it, put it in the comments. I gladly get back to you guys, and I thank you all for watching. Enjoy Yone, and it's going to be an amazing season. See you later, guys. Bye bye.